In the Trenches with Ryan Roxie.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching another live stream edition of In the Trenches with Ryan Roxie. I am your host, Ryan Roxie, and as you can tell, there are people coughing, there are people drinking coffee, there are people getting ready to talk to you today, and guess what? They are all angels. Yes, they are. They are the angels, and I'm a proud angel as well. But the one thing is, we are all lost. So if you are lost, lonely, hungry, excited to sit and be a part of the live stream today, thank you very much. Right off the bat, if this is your first time and you want to support the show, just press that subscribe button that's right there on the YouTube button or Facebook Live, whichever one you are watching right now. But I see the room is filling in. I see the chat board is ready to go, and I've got my fancy readers on because you'll understand that in a second. But we got a big lineup today because it's not just one lineup of Lost Angels. It's the entire lineup of Lost Angels, sans one, I believe. I'm going to let Patrick Farrell come through all of that. But basically, you're going to see 6 people on screen at one time. I will introduce one person, and then I will let them introduce the next, and so on and so forth. And that's the way we will run things, because right now we are ready to start the In the Trenches podcast. Would you please welcome the entire cast of the Lost Angels? Here we are.
Hello.
Hello.
There was an angel that wasn't there. That was our producer, the Rat. He had to get in somewhere. But I will. So this is how I'll do it, being that we're Brady Bunch style right now, and not everybody is logged in or signed on. I will introduce right over there one of the singers, guitarists of the Los Angeles. That is John Corabi. John, hello. Welcome.
How are you, buddy?
What's up, bud?
I'm good. Just hanging out in Nashville, just doing my self-quarantining, having my coffee and my whatever with you guys. Mr. Brittingham, good to see you.
There it is. He passed it on to you, Eric Brittingham. What's up?
Hi, I'm in Nashville also, sitting here still semi in quarantine, being full-time dad. So, yeah, just looking forward to getting out and playing some music again. How about you, Eric Dover? Oh, you're
there
that way.
It is. It takes a little while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric. Hey, John.
Hey.
What's up? I'm not Eric Dover. I'm actually Florence Henderson. And
Alex
No, I'm doing good here. I'm really getting cabin fever, and I'm also in the process of moving to Burbank. So there you go.
Quick question, Florence. Did Alice and Sam the Butcher were they swingers, or how did that all end up?
I think it was a menage a trois situation with Eddie Haskell, if I'm not mistaken. Which, God rest his soul.
There was so much incest going on that show. That was crazy. It's basically the Brady Bunch was basically Pornhub before. It was the precursor of what every single scenario of it's on Pornhub. Not that I ever go down that nightly.
It was pretty much it was a porn in the making, definitely.
Speaking of porn in the making, this is a perfect segue. Ladies and gentlemen, Los Angeles bassists. The bassists are on the bottom. They're right there, the foundation. EJ Curse, welcome.
What's up, Eric? Thank you. Cheers. I think I'm back.
Well, you froze right when we said that, but
remember all that Don Julio we got back in Mexico there, Corabi? All that Don Julio?
Yeah, I don't want to even talk about it.
Right here.
I think there actually is quite a large Mexico contingent here today, because I was getting some DMs all morning. See? I'm not the only one that can speak in like short term like that. Patrick Farrell, TPF. I got some DMs from Mexico saying they were going to go watch the show. But being that Patrick Farrell is there.
Yo.
Hello.
Just say his name. He's there. As always, just like a Los Angeles show, you got the loudest mic.
Oh, look at him. Great mic and everything.
I'm hoping you can all hear me. Good to be here. I apologize for being late. I had to spray my apricot vanilla spray.
I can smell it from here.
All right,
exactly.
Now, did you guys on the American version? Because I don't know if what do we call this? The American version, the Europe version, the Australian version. But did you guys call it what we called it? We just called it the horse spray. Isn't it
the horse? Yeah, the horse spray.
It was.
I didn't realize this show was a scratch and sniff because I can definitely smell them from here.
Give a little Corabi up there. He needs a little spray up there.
Oh boy! So going out. Okay, so for those of you that are watching and just tuned in and said, "What the hell is going on with this weird?" Where's Marcia Brady? That's the one I came for. And they just see these 6 dudes up here. We are pretty much the entire encompassing lineup of the Lost Angels. But there's one member missing, but I'm going to leave it up to Troy Patrick Farrell, drummer, and basically the sort of he's the anchor because he's the one that makes the most phone calls and makes the most emails to us. Talk about how each lineup sort of exists and how it started and what year was it?
Well, it goes back to 2010, believe it or not. And I got an email from a promoter, and that's a whole nother story. We'll get there eventually. Anyway, he says, "Hey, can you bring like a Gilby Clarke here? Who can you bring over here? We want to have Guns N' Roses." I said, "Well, can't do that, but I've got some friends I can call." And so we called Muddy Stardust. He's the OG bass player. Muddy was in LA Guns. He was in Burning Tree with Mark Ford from the Black Crowes, and he's played with Chris Robinson's Brotherhood. And so he was there, and we had, of course, Mr. Eric Dover there in your top right. And then, of course, John Corabi. And the 4 of us traveled 33 hours to India, to the Northeast Territory, and did our first shows in 2 soccer stadiums, and that was in 2010.
So nowhere to go but down, but because I didn't play a soccer stadium.
Oh no, dude! You haven't heard about the trip yet, so I'm just saying, like, okay, I'm just saying that pick the worst club on earth would be a step up from what we did that time. We had a blast, but it was little interesting between Eric Dover eating ghost peppers. The guys with fucking bags at these soccer stadiums that Troy speaks so highly of. A dude with a bag putting fucking like live snakes in it, and the entire stage being made of bamboo, and then the promoter getting taken off by some dude in royalty at gunpoint, being told that he has to pay us. It was an awesome trip.
You guys didn't have your veils on. That there had to be something.
No.
So what started out as a stadium ended up as a Foot Locker, it sounds like.
Well, we did play these soccer stadiums, but what had happened was, short story long, is that the promoter, when you take on a show, especially one that's international, you're going to get 50% up front, and then when you get there or before you leave now, you get the balance. Well, what he did was he made the first show, which because he subcontracted out the first gig, and he made that guy pay in full. So he never had to come up with any money until we got out there. And then what happened was ultimately, because I had some friends there from some previous relations in White Lion, the king of Tripura, well, I won't say that, the king of India, let's say that, had to help me out and have a little chit chat with our promoter. And needless to say, we were kind of like a live jukebox. We weren't going to go on because we had not been paid. And the Ministry of Entertainment or whatever, sort of like the city council that was helping sponsor the show, says, you have to go on or there's going to be a riot. Of course, we didn't want anybody to get hurt, but we had to take care of business. So we said, well, go get us whatever money you have. So the little promoter guy goes running around to each cash bank, grabbing what he could in rupees, and then paying us. We all had our suitcases on stage, so we count out the first thing of money. We go, okay, 2 songs. We play 2 songs. He'd come back with more money, and then we'd play 3 more songs. And that's how it was the whole night.
Wow. So to make a long story longer,
yeah,
I'd like to hear Eric Dover's memories of that Indian tour, because that started basically, I think Eric Dover and Troy Patrick, they've done all of the shows. We've all sort of, I guess we're just hired guns for the Eric Dover, Troy Patrick Farrell project. But at the end of the day, what was your memories about that,
Thanks,
Eric
guys.
Dover? Appreciate the opportunity.
I still have a lot of memories. It's like John said. I mean, you'll never forget your road trip to Shillong. That was like an incredible journey and very dangerous. I've never seen any. Well, just the drivers in India anyway. It's like rally car style. Like all the traffic is heading, straight towards you, and that was something. And getting stranded at the airport when we were leaving too, because I actually went out to have a smoke or something, and then I couldn't get back in and had to jump a cab somewhere to go to another airport. And me and John were traveling back, and I was flipping out, and John was flipping out. We made it home eventually, but that's some of the memories.
I'm so sorry I missed it.
No, dude. This could possibly be like one of the greatest comedy movies. Like if they did like a Help by the Beatles kind of thing, and it's just Los Angeles go to India, done. And I'm literally talking about. So Dover, we're at dinner, and Dover goes, "Oh, I love hot peppers. I'm Cajun. I eat everything." And he reaches into this bowl, and he was going to throw this pepper into his mouth. The guy almost slapped it out of his hand and gave him a piece of this pepper that was like the size of a matchstick. And it was hilarious because Dover was like sweating. And then he came out of the house the next day and he's like, "Dude, I don't know what I ate last night, but I'm shitting food that I haven't even eaten yet." It was crazy. And then Muddy, and then if I don't know if you guys remember all the guys had to go to this, they wanted to write home. So they went to this internet cafe, and it was like, the old school, that kind of shit. So I'm like, fuck this. I go outside to smoke a cigarette, and there was literally like a butcher next door with this wood shanty shack with a pig fillet on the flies. And I'm like, and the next day the guy goes, "Oh, would you like bacon and eggs, sir?" I'm like, "Fuck no, just give me the toast and coffee and double brew everything." It was crazy. The entire trip was but it was fucking one of the funnest experiences of my life. It was awesome. And then Dover, as he was just saying, we're at an airport to fly home. Troy and Muddy give us 2 tickets to fly home, and they go, "Oh yeah, you fly here to here, and then you get on your next flight, you go home." And then Dover and I get on the flight, and I'm looking at the ticket, and I go, "Holy shit. It's like 5 o'clock is our first flight, 7 is our second flight, but it was 5 p.m. was the first flight, 7 a.m. was the second flight." So we literally sat in an airport for like 14 hours or 12 hours or some shit. And it was hilarious. Dover walked past this sign that was like 30 feet high with like 8-foot letters that said, "No in and out. Do not go outside. You can't get back in." And he went out, he had a cigarette, and I'm just sitting there. This guy with a machine gun wouldn't let him in. It was crazy. It was awesome.
So basically what I'm hearing is a pretty much a flawless tour to get to right out of the gate. I mean, that's Los Angeles in a nutshell, everybody that's watching. That's basically a good day on some of the tours that we have been on.
Lost with this thing is everything.
Yes, India, Mexico, crazy.
So that's the thing. Los Angeles has been very international because out of the gate, I wasn't there, but Eric wasn't part of that. EJ wasn't part of that, but you guys are in India. But then the next gig, and this is where I learned my parts from. I didn't really need to learn them because if you guys know, we play the international set list, folks. And if anybody doesn't know what the international set list, just pick any sort of band that has the name All Star in it and check out their set list. And I'm sure that's pretty much the lion's share of the songs, right? Not white lion's share, but just the lion's share. But then the next gig was Australia, right? That was the next tour, right, Troy?
Yeah, that was 20. I think we went there 2013, and we went to Australia. We did.
So it took you 3 years. 3 years to get over India.
No, actually, after India, we went to. We did a little bit of a Midwest tour. We did Oneida Casino. We did 3 nights there, and then we did Milwaukee Summerfest, and then I think we played Toledo, and so we did about 5 or 6 dates on that run.
So you're sure that Brandon Gibbs isn't an honerary member of Los Angeles?
No,
that point?
no. That was before I met him, actually. So,
all right. So then Australia. Tell us about Australia. Who went to Australia on that run then?
That was John Corabi there, top middle, and then that way, Mr. Brittingham, and then Mr. Dover and myself.
Gig. I want to hear your thoughts on Australia on your first Los Angeles show in Australia. See if it was.
Well, it was great, except for the fact that my bass ended up in Samoa. So, singing Samoa, what's the difference, right? Yeah. So I had to borrow. I played like the first 2 shows with a borrowed bass. I don't even know what it was. Strings were about that high off the fretboard, but it was like, but it was fun. They had really great beer over there. So.
It explains your huge following in Samoa, Eric. It really does.
Samoa,
yeah.
It's like, well, we have good news. We found your bass. Oh, cool. When will it be here? In 2 days. It's in Samoa. Great.
And I have to, if I can chime in again, I'm sorry, but I have like little stupid memories of.
We love these stupid memories. It's called entertainment.
And I'm sorry, Brittingham. I'm going to throw you under the bus.
Go ahead.
I bust his balls about this all the time. So we're staying at this hotel that had a sushi bar in the lobby. Nice. And I called everybody and I said, hey, I'm going to go get some food. And Brittingham came down and he sits down at the table with me. And I said, yeah, you want some sushi? I'll buy you lunch, whatever. He goes, yeah, okay. And we sit down, he looks at the menu and he goes, you know what, after some consideration here, I think I'm gonna pass on the sushi. My stomach's been a little weird. I'm just gonna pass.
I heard that line in Europe too from Eric as well.
Yeah.
It's reoccurring, I think.
So this is great. So he passes on the sushi, but he goes, I'll be right back. I'm going to go across the street, grab something to eat. So he goes across the street to Australia's version of Burger King. It's called Happy Jacks.
Yes, Happy Jacks. Simple Jacks, right?
And he gets like a double Whopper with cheese, some onion rings, some fries. And he comes back at the table, and I'm just sitting there looking. He's taking all this medicine for his fucking stomach, and I just sit there and I go, dude, seriously, like you're eating a fucking Whopper right now with cheese. You passed on the sushi because you want to save your stomach, but you're eating a Whopper with cheese. Awesome.
It was a damn good burger, though.
But definitely try the pork rinds. They're awesome.
I know. Well, I was bummed. They didn't have pork rinds over there. I almost died.
Well, just so you know, there's been indigestion on every one of my tours with the Los Angeles, so that hasn't ever. That's kind of fail safe. Yeah.
Just remember, we haven't even got to Mexico yet. So
I think that's probably why I passed on Mexico. Europe was like get a number, get ready, get on that Euro train. I was stuck in the bathroom for like right up to the last minute. I'm like, oh no, hour and a half. Oh.
Well, then I have to thank Eric over there because I lost 10 pounds after Mexico.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were brown pounds, but they were pounds. So thanks, Eric.
The safest thing in any foreign country is beer, bottled beer,
bottled
or
beer,
tequila. Yes, tequila works.
So for those of you that are watching us, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, or if you're listening to us on the Apple Tunes, as I like to call it, or Spotify, or any of those other platforms, you got to get yourself over to the YouTube stream and Facebook Live to check us out in person. And if you're just looking at us going, who the hell are these guys? This was the type of show that I definitely didn't want to go through everyone's history because it would take too long. There's so much powerhouse. There was so much rock on this screen right now. It's disgusting. Obviously, John Corabi, you know him from The Scream, you know him from Motley Crue, you know him from The Rat, you know him from his own solo work as John Corabi. You got Eric Dover over there from Jellyfish and from, oh my God, like a boy. Slash a Snake Pit. Of course, I have questions about that and as far as Sextus and his own solo stuff as well. And you've got Eric Brittingham from Cinderella. Is it Brett Michaels now is currently touring with, or nobody's currently touring? But,
nobody right now.
Yeah.
It's the unemployment office.
So you got Eric Brittingham from Cinderella and Brett Michaels and Eric Brittingham, and then you got Troy Patrick Farrell. I can't even begin to go on the list of that one, but that is like he's going to tell you it reads like the Ten Commandments. And you got his compadre right next to him, EJ Curse, and of course one of my favorite bands, Silent Rage. So and then you got this guy in me that I've been riding the coattails of this certain goth rock singer for many, many years. So shock rock. I don't even know how to call him that. I just like to surf the coattails of Alice Cooper. How about that? Just put out a new single last week, guys. What do you think about that? 72.
I
and
heard it.
Still kicking out singles. Well, I've got to love the guy. But anyway, so that's the whole story as far as you got on screen. So now, before you sign off, you can go, oh, that's who they were. All right, cool. And but I'm so curious to hear more stories about these tours that sort of gone awry, because each one of the Los Angeles tours could have been a fire fest, I believe. Right? And we learned new terms. We learned the term. I mean, I don't know if you had it on the other tours, guys, but we learned that if different terms for the types of rooms. We would call it a modest crowd a lot of nights that we would play. And the Los Angeles were practicing social distancing at our shows long before it was actually enforced. Right?
Trendsetter.
Like Troy said, we've seen tens of faces and we rocked them all.
We did, though. However, we did in India. I hate to go back to India, but we did more people in India than Guns N' Roses did when they showed up years later. True story. True story.
Well, there's more people in India than there are in Guns N' Roses.
And
Yeah,
actually,
but in India, I wish they would wear those masks in India sometimes, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
actually, too, Troy, if you remember, the Australian shows were pretty fucking off. They were pretty awesome as well.
They were good.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
So basically, you're just saying the tours that I've done with you guys have been the ones.
There's a common denominator.
What are you saying there, Brian?
Hold on.
Hey, listen, all I'm saying is I did India, I did Australia, and I did Mexico. Mexico, all the shows were sold out.
Yep.
India, it was insane. And Australia, it was fucking brilliant. So,
but you know why?
And then I'll be over here.
Listen,
I'll be over here in
next week, Corabi.
I'll be over here in the winner circle.
You know why? You're John fucking Corabi. That's all you are. You're John fucking Corabi, and we all know how great you are. I don't know if people know how great Eric Dover is, because like just kind of like you're trying to watch him through like a penthouse lens right now, through that diffused lens. You really have to like come see Eric Dover live to really appreciate the greatness of what Eric Dover is. And I think that the five of us on that screen can all agree with that, right?
The vaginal lens shows it all.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. It's actually just bring your own empty toilet paper roll and it'll look the exact same.
Is that what it is?
You need to open the vulva a little more.
This is basically what Eric Dover looked at like right before he was born.
He's
I mean,
crowning.
right through the womb.
Hey, Ma!
Where's the meatloaf?
Just don't lose your watch.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
All right. So now that I went, Eric Dover is one of the best. There you go. Nice. Definitely said. I wanted to, instead of go through everyone's history, because I want to see what you guys are up to currently, obviously, so we can hype something about what you guys are currently doing. Obviously, we're all indoors right now, but that's the reason why we're able to get a lot of people to watch this show and listen to this. But I put out there a little Instagram story saying, give me questions for the angels. All right. Give me some questions for the lost angels. And this one comes from a funky Almadena. I figured I'd make my job easier. I'd make our research team's job easier and just get the questions from the crowd. So the chat is asking, Funky Almadena is asking, how did we all meet? And this is, I'm very curious because all of us have known each other for many, many years, but who met who first? John?
I have 2 words. I can sum this whole thing up in 2 words. Cat Club.
It could be the Cat Club, huh?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that could
Except
be.
for Brittingham. I've known Brittingham forever from back east, but Cat Club.
Did you guys know each other back in the day when Eric was in Cinderella and you were in the Scream?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Even before that, I knew Eric. I was in a band called Angora. Eric was in Cinderella, and we would alternate like every Friday, Saturday. We would play this place called the Galaxy in New Jersey. So this is typical Corabi timing. So I decided that there was nothing going on in Philadelphia, New Jersey, all that shit. And I bought an old fire department ambulance. I packed up my wife at the time, Valerie, and my daughter and my dog. I went to California to achieve my dream, my goal of being a rock star. And like literally 2 months after I left, Cinderella got signed, Tangiers got signed, Brittany Fox got signed, like all these bands in Philadelphia got signed, and I was in LA holding my balls.
You know what? I'm never going to say poor John Corabi. That words are never going to come out of my mouth because you know what, man? You're still living the dream. You're still doing it, and you're still, you know.
No, it's not poor John Corabi. It's just that my timing is a little off. Like right now, I'm writing an autobiography,
You should have been a drummer.
and I'm doing it in the middle of a pandemic, so I'll release it, and there'll be nobody to read it.
Yeah, you should have wrote that
kind of
last
thing.
year, dude.
Yeah. I'm just saying. Just
Perfect
saying.
timing for it now. Anybody else writing an autobiography? What do you say, EJ?
Oh no, I want to keep my friends, so I'm not going to write anything. Maybe a storybook or coloring book. I can do that.
You don't want to go down the Blotzer route?
I'll use spell check though.
So,
If I do
EJ, how did you meet all these people in this particular lineup? Because I've known you for years and years, Gilby Clark days, right?
Pretty interesting. Yes, I think I met you before I started performing with Gilby. I met Eric and you and Corabi, I believe, all at the Cat Club. I might have met you through Calico, and I met Troy a little bit later, and then I started playing with White Lion with Troy for a nice run. But actually, Troy and Eric Dover played my wedding, my now defunct wedding, because I'm divorced.
Oh,
There it is. Putting it out there.
But
You got the
I'm
full
not
screen for
blaming-
this too, dude.
I'm not blaming you guys. You might have fucked her, you might not have. I'm not blaming you guys at all. But
No one on this screen.
so it's a pretty interesting. But the Eric over there. I'm sorry, I've never met you in person, but hey, dude.
Hey,
you guys are virtually meeting each other right now. Well, I did not know that.
I think so. I think so.
All right. And Eric Dover and I, we've met on many a stage, but when we first met, again, Calico Cooper does come back into the mix because it is Calico's birthday today, by the way. So happy birthday, Calico Cooper.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Eric and I met through, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Was it Glam Nation, or was it because we both played in the same band but at different times? Eric Dover played in the first incarnation of Slash's Snake Pit. I played in the second incarnation of Slash's Snake Pit with Rod Jackson singing, but I'm not sure. We might have met when Dad's Porno Mag opened up for Slash's Snake Pit, but I don't think of either of us was coherent enough to actually even say hello to each other during those days. I'm not sure. Did we?
I certainly wasn't.
I wasn't either.
I think as far as I remember, when we actually started hanging out, it was when we started doing Glam Nation and playing, the gig and doing all those confetti shows and glam rock send-ups and things. That's when we really started hitting it off, so to speak.
Glam Nation was a fun band. It really was. And then
I loved Glam Nation. Loved it. So much fun, dude.
I actually think that there's been John Corabi. Were you an honorary member of Glam Nation at one point?
No, never. It was wasn't it? It was Teddy, you, Dover, Eric Singer, and Stefan,
Derek,
right?
Yeah, Stefan and Derek Sherinian for a little time, but we all none of those were our names. Yeah, we like Dr. Midnight was Teddy, and Nikki Lemons was Derek Sherinian, and so everybody had you were Eric Dover was what was it?
Oh, JC Jackson.
JC Jackson, right? And I who was I? Peter Kensington. You know what? Peter Kensington and Eric Brittingham could easily have been in a band together, I feel.
Yes. The Brits.
Now, Troy Patrick Farrell, did you ever come and see Eric Dover and I perform in any of these bands? Or what were you? Because you're a little bit of the new school. You're a little bit of the younger kid generation from us elders, But
yes. I got to LA in 92, right out of high school. And then I remember hitting the Cat Club somewhere in the early mid 90s. So I think I may have seen maybe one Glam Nation, or it was on the way out. And I don't remember how Starfuckers started, but that was really where I came to know you guys, Slim Jim Phantom from the Stray Cats. And of course, the three of you guys and Stefan Adika. And, so I would say in the mid 90s, Cat Club, I got to blame the Cat Club for this.
Well, you know what? And this would be a perfect time to bring Slim Jim on to the podcast and bring him on to the screen. But unfortunately, he only charges on his Patreon for us to actually, so and I don't think we can actually afford it right now. So, but I have wanted Slim Jim to come on for a couple months now, and maybe we'll be able to secure it now. But because he was sort of the Bill Gazzari of the Sunset Strip. Just moved down a little bit, right? I mean, for those of you that know who Bill Gazzari was, he played. He was the owner of Gazzari's, and what was his saying? You had to have played Gazzari's at one point. Everybody on the street.
Absolutely. I was a house band there from 80 to 83.
80 to 83.
That was the first gig that I did there in 85 or 86. First gig I played was at Gazzari's with Michael Fell.
Did you get to judge the bikini contest? So that's the most important thing.
Won. And then my wife was like, no, not having that. But do you remember Michael Fell, the promoter there at Gazzari's?
I don't.
Those were promoters afterwards. I had Whoa Nelly. Now, Eric Dover, did you ever play Gazzari's?
Whoa Nelly.
No, I never did. I got to hear what
lucky bastard
92, 93 or so. So I kind of just missed it.
Right on.
You missed it.
Was anybody at Gazzari's the night that Bruce Kulick got shot?
I was at the Roxie. I was at the Rainbow. The night that he got shot. Yeah, I was at the Rainbow that night. Were you there too, Troy? We were probably together.
Yeah. At the Rainbow.
I don't even. Go ahead.
I was across the street in the office building with the rifle. I'm sorry.
Rob is basically he's in the library. It was only one bullet too. It was a magic bullet.
Yeah, it was like some Kennedy shit going on there.
He looks like a shooter though. Look at that shit.
I love you, Bruce. I'm kidding.
I don't think it was called Gazzari's at that point. I think it was something else at that point. I think it's
Billboard Live.
Billboard Live.
Billboard Live, Key Club. It went through a lot of changes, man. You're basically looking at kind of like the foundation that holds the Rainbow Bar and Grill together right now. Look, Mark Van Sizen. If the guys aren't sexy, they don't play my stage. That was his thing.
That was the thing.
Don't look for it anymore. It's not there.
It's One Oak now.
Hey, that's all I got.
All
yeah,
right.
it's now the Ghetto Bar and Grill, I think, is what's going on there now. Yeah.
Well, okay. Here's a question, and this will be for the European lineup. Wait a second. My son calling me. Yeah, he calls me, and the last time I called him, he said, "I'm working," and I'm like, "I'm sort of working right now." But here's a question from Lazaros, because I think actually, how did we all meet? Kind of, it all blends. It's very much like the Brady Bunch. It is very
Simple lines intertwining.
Yes, it is. Will we ever come back to Greece from Lazaros? Now wait a second.
Whoa!
Of all the gigs that we played for Los Angeles, that was definitely one of them. We did play a very good sold out show in Rhodes, the island of Rhodes,
the Colorado Club.
Wow, look at that. That was.
I remember Dover going up with the band that played after us and just grabbing the mic and taking over, and it was awesome.
He did Rolling Stone, the Stones.
Yeah,
he did that.
Give me shelter. I was like, oh my god.
It's like he transformed into.
I know.
It was like, whoa, who is this guy?
Yeah, well, like we're used to him playing and singing. He grabbed the mic and fronted. It was like, holy crap. It was cool.
I think that was Eric Dover on Sambuca.
I know. Yeah. I think alcohol may have been involved.
Uzo. Sambuca, something. Yeah, it was definitely something strong. Yeah.
George, our buddy George over there in Greece.
Something tells me that alcohol does play a little bit of a role in the Los Angeles history, because the last tour that you guys had done in Mexico, how did that all end up and how did that go? Because there's a question about it from Mexico saying they don't want their money back, but they want their no.
They were free shows. The shows were free.
So tell us about Mexico, John. How did that work out? As smoothly as India?
Oh, smooth. That's a good way to start it. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, no, I'm just
start with the last show and go backwards.
Oh my God. Yeah. I basically, in jest, I basically said before the tour that I was one good salmonella poisoning away from fitting into my old leather jeans. and now they
close again. Bad timing.
That close.
Yeah.
And now they fit me with room to spare. Still. And I believe EJ as well.
Oh yeah, I got sick the second night, and I didn't feel good till the last night. So it was the night that Corabi got to leave the stage for some strange reason, and cleared the room for some strange reason. But we all got a little sick in Mexico. That's really shocking, but tequila helped a little teeny bit. But they were great shows. The people there were pretty damn awesome. So we had a good time, and it was nice to party with everybody but you, Ryan, and you, Eric, and I mean, not Dover. He did a little bit of partying over there, but it was a pleasure. That was my first run with Los Angeles, and it was a good start, except for the whole losing 10 pounds of shit.
The whole salmonella thing. Aside from the whole stomach scene.
Run being the key word in that whole sentence.
that was a good run, yes.
The old intestinal drainage thing. Yeah, it's fine. So backtracking just a little bit, because my questions do kind of go a little bit all over the place. Earl wanted to know from Eric Dover, has there been any Bobo sightings from Glam Nation? And we all have fond memories of Bobo, but Eric, have you seen Bobo from Glam Nation?
Wow, I haven't seen Bobo in probably like 2 or 3 years, I think, because he got a job with a golf company of some sort, right? So there have been a few times where Carrie Kelly and I had played some of their corporate events, parties and stuff. John, Bobby Blotzer's over there in the corner, not speaking to us as usual. And
what
is he wearing? The magic cap? That's the only thing I know about. I've been in a band, actually. Corabi and I. This is another band that I unfortunately didn't make the CV, but Corabi and I played in. It was something with All Stars in it, right? Remember that?
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
We did some shows with me, you, the Blots, and he got so mad because I made fun of his magic cap that he was wearing during those days. They were in the Midwest. Wasn't it called something All City All Stars? It was Rock City All Stars, something like that. Angel City All Stars.
Angel City Outlaws.
Angel City Outlaws.
Dude, Troy Patrick Farrell?
Lost Angel City Outlaws, Cheap Thrill.
Doubles.
Wow, I see it now.
Very
Oh, it's all
intense,
coming
yeah.
together like the like Kennedy conspiracy, man.
And it was great too because I hadn't seen Blotzer for a couple years, but I went to Troy's wedding, and
It was like these two guys. Where
it was a
everybody-
roast.
yeah, everybody's kind of coming up and saying their nice accolades about my
so
wife
this
and
is
I.
just recently, right? You just recently
Yeah, just
got
in
married. So
yeah,
congratulations,
Congratulations.
PPF. Yeah, there you go. Now
Very
tell us
lucky,
the
happy.
story. You had a little bit of a reunion there, which I'm sure was less chaotic than this podcast. Talk about what they were saying.
I can't even tell you what Blotzer said to me right when I saw him. He got out of the car and he said this typical phrase that he says to me all the time. I'll tell you when we're off air.
Okay.
And I just let him have it. And then we did a toast at Troy's wedding. And I don't even remember what I said, but I guess it was kind of funny. I told him, what did I say, Troy? It was, I didn't realize, I was pissed. I told Troy and his wife that I was pissed that they sat me at the table with Bobby Blotzer. The same table with Blotzer.
It's been some
and then I
table
didn't
seating
realize
arrangements.
yeah, exactly. And I didn't realize you could do I could have sent in a video, whatever. Now I had to sit at the table with Bobby Blotzer, whatever. It was hilarious, but we had a good time. It was awesome.
Well, there you go. You know what? That story was so good. Kitty Oates just donated $5.99 to you. That's for you. All yours, Corabi.
No. It says Kitty Oates says EJ is my new crush.
Oh shit!
So
All
that
right,
$5.99 goes to EJ.
I knew I should have put makeup on before the set podcast thing.
EJ does not have makeup on.
This is a Havasu tan.
Apparently she's into.
Hey, it's all I got.
That's multiple surgeries, guys. That's not.
What?
makeup.
I got a plaid shirt on, lumberjack.
So one more question, you guys.
It's last night's makeup. It's last night's makeup. Come on.
From the show, right? The sold out Los Angeles show.
I just want to make note that every show that we've talked about, every tour that we've done, all we did was talk about bowel movements. I'm just saying.
We do thank Eric Brittingham for that.
The audience, whatever. We just talked about bowel movements. Yeah. All right. Moving right along here.
All right. So here we go. Logical Frog. Have you ever met an illogical frog? But the Logical Frog asks if there are any studio guitars that you don't feel comfortable with playing live. And I guess we should go to the important instruments. Let's ask the bass players first. So Eric Brittingham, is there any basses that you don't get sent to Samoa that you are attached to?
Yeah. I actually, I have 259P basses that I used to tour with all the time. And luckily, when I was doing my Naked Beggar solo thing years ago, I decided to leave them home just before we went on the road. And I bought like a couple cheap like Thunderbird basses, and our trailer got broken into, both basses stolen. I was like, these basses will never leave my house now. So so it's my.
Why does that not shock me, Britt? They both got stolen?
Both basses, yeah.
Brittingham's
not the P basses. I bought cheap basses prior to that tour. Thank God.
So now the thief knows now that you have actually good basses that he can re-steal now. So
no, they are locked away.
EJ, do you have any bases that you don't want to take out on the road?
No,
the one behind him.
They won't let me take. They won't let me take that one. That's my Gene Simmons blood bass over there. But they also, you can see now, I got my Gibson Thunderbird over. That's my favorite bass to play live. I just love playing that one, but it's really fragile. So when I do go on the road, I play a 78 Fender P that sounds great in the studio. I always use that one in the studio, but I prefer to play the Thunderbird Gibson. I also have actually Carvin with a drop with a hip shot on it that I used with the last Los Angeles run in Europe, just so I could tune back and forth for you motherfuckers.
I'm sorry, Eric. It was the wrong question I asked. Hold on, because the question was I misphrased. It's my problem. EJ, is there any bass moves that you refuse to take out on stage? And the answer is no. You have the best bass player moves of all bass players, and I love you, Eric Brittingham. And you pretty much invented a couple of the moves. I still. Every time I try and do that, I break a lamp that's above me whenever I try to do one of your moves. I can't do
that thing, man. I can't do that one, man. So,
can we ask about the bass move? So who invented that move?
I just like to spread my legs. I like to spread my legs. I'm sorry. Right. What can I say?
EJ's got the leg spreading.
We should have Dober's camera.
Britt, who came up with the signature twirling the bass around the neck move? Who was that? That
would be Kelly James and George Rumble from the Dead End Kids, New Jersey.
Get that? Yep. I knew that Corabi was going to fact check you. I knew he was he was sitting there judging, going, "He better say it. He better say it."
Yeah. He did. Absolutely. Give credit where credit's due.
No, they were fucking awesome.
And they were East Coast, right? They were East Coast band.
Yep, they were the masters.
New Jersey's the East Coast.
They could have easily been, because I'm talking. Eric and I saw those guys mid to late 70s.
Yeah.
They were doing shit that like everybody, like two of the guys had black hair. One guy looked like David Bowie with black hair. The other guy looked like Steven Tyler, Kelly James, the one he was talking about.
Yeah.
And they would both spin their guitar. Did the bass player do it too?
Yeah. Yep. They all did it. Yeah.
So they all did this guitar spinning thing, but they were putting even contact lenses. They would put these contact lenses in their eyes, like Marilyn Manson did 30 years later.
Yeah, with the black cheeks and.
Yeah, it was, dude. They were insane. They could have been the Motley Crue. Alice Cooper was already happening, but they could have been that big. They were
basically you're saying that they did it, but Eric Brittingham did it on video.
Exactly.
Yeah, he did it on film, and that was that. Yeah, and the rest is history. So there is one more question. This goes to Eric Dover. This is from James. Okay. Question to you from the womb. Some guitar tips that you have, whether you're in a womb or not in a womb. Do you have any good guitar tips for James out there, Eric Dover?
James, I think
space, right? Space.
Dear James, followed by a comma. Good guitar tips. Do it every day, as much as you can. That's it. There's no secret to it. The only way to get better is to do it over and over again. Is that a good answer?
Yeah, it's loosely based off the Spinal Tap. Have a good time all the time. A little bit, a tiny bit, but you know what? I'll take it. There's King.
I can't hear you. Can you open the vulva a little more?
Mommy!
Well, there you go. Local Frog is just going crazy with questions. Okay, go ahead. You guys have something to say? Anybody?
Well, I'm glad you asked about where you can get this this flask.
Hold on.
And
that was one of your credits. There was a whole section coming up on the Troy Patrick Farrell merchandise of Los Angeles. Well, it was a little bit, but I was going to bring out mine as well. Now, how many people out there, either listening or not listening, or that have recently contributed to the EJ Curse fan site that is apparently being formed as we speak. How many of you people own a piece of Los Angeles merch? Because if you do not, we have plenty, or should I say Troy Patrick Farrell has plenty. Whose idea was it to have all this merch, and what sort of deal did you get on Vistaprint?
Well, apparently it was my idea to get bottle openers and flasks. This is the last one, by the way. Shot glasses and dog tags. Yeah, I'm still paying for this stuff, by the way. So if you'd like to order some, we do have some available at losangelslive.com. This is a limited edition Mexico t-shirt. And then we, of course, have our European UK shirts.
Do you have more or less
here.
of those? I guess more.
Look at that. I mean, that's a one of a kind right there. Well, in fact, they're actually not one of a kind. There's 1,000 at our promoter's house in the UK. So anyway, Lost Angels Live or Facebook / Lost Angels Live. And you too can own a piece of history.
I'm not only a member of Los Angeles.
And now I've lost
I'm
you.
a customer. Yeah, there you go.
By the way,
oh, there
it
is
the rats.
Class, so I paid.
Oh, there he is.
But it's well worth it.
That was a picture of our
It's worth
producer.
the money, fans out there. It's worth the money.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I still have vodka in here from, I think, the last UK show. So it's probably good still, right? How long does it keep in these?
Absolutely.
In these well, I don't know. We'll ask John the Vapor. There you go.
I don't have one, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
You have no Los Angeles merch, huh?
Oh, I can get you some for the low price. We have bundles too. If you buy one, you get other stuff for discounts.
I've only done 3 shows, Ryan.
Oh my God! But at least they've all been sold out.
Here, John, you can buy this 8x10 for $20, signed by you.
Awesome.
We've done a lot of shows, and we have a shit ton of merch. So that shows you. But you know what? I think people, because of this podcast, because of this broadcast, will be wanting more. They will be wanting, and that is the biggest question that I received all day from all of these Instagram stories. By the way, thank you for contributing to it. Again, if you haven't subscribed to each and every single one of them, can we put their names up there? Because we are going to get everyone to follow them on, I think Instagram is the sort of platform of choice these days. But like I said, follow all these guys right now on Instagram. Well, not right now. You can watch us for a little bit longer, and then we're going to wrap it up in just a little bit. But it's been a complete pleasure to have the Los Angeles reunion on here. I feel a little bit nostalgic as well. But like I said, the biggest question that I was getting the whole entire day through these Instagram was, when is the next tour? And I guess all signs would point to our TPF right over there. And where will it be? Because that will probably determine the lineup of what we have.
Bear Stain Entertainment, who brought us to Mexico last October, November. We are currently talking about
Bear Stain.
Bear Stain.
You had me at Bear. You lost me at Stain.
Yeah, no. So it's right above right in that flyer there. Anyway, Christian, our good friend down in Mexico. We're hoping to go back there sometime this fall. Maybe make it a yearly thing. We were working on some dates for March, and I can either say that we weren't able to get them booked, or I can blame the pandemic. So I'm going to blame the pandemic, and hopefully we'll be back in the UK. And we had some dates in Sweden and Denmark.
All postponed.
Yeah, all postponed. So maybe in the fall. I mean, it just depends on what everybody else is doing. I mean, everybody's got their anchor gigs. You know, you've got Alice Cooper, which will be rescheduling big shows. And, John's got his solo shows. And maybe there's some Licorice Quartet for Eric Dover's future. Eric Brittingham.
Talk about. Yeah. I was going to talk about everybody's solo stuff of what they're doing right now. But do you think there'll ever be a chance, Troy? Get it on record right now so we can I can haunt you for years to come. Will there ever be a chance that all 7 of us could actually do a tour together? And this is including the missing Beatle, the missing Angel. This would be Muddy. So basically 3 bass players, which would complete the
Big Bottom.
Yeah, Big Bottom trifecta, of course.
Yeah.
Is there a chance of everybody ever meeting on stage and doing some sort of show or tour?
Well, I mean, a tour might be a little, let's see if we can get one show first, but maybe, I mean, why not? I mean, at least we know that there'll be 7 people in the crowd.
Definite maybe.
What about Bear Stain? I would immediately zero in on Bear Stain.
Oh yeah, he can make it happen.
Okay, if anyone could. So that now I just want to go around the wheelhouse of what everyone is up to currently, because obviously, besides just being hunkered down at their home and riding it out, so to speak, what is on the immediate future? And I will just sort of go clockwise. I will ask John Corabi, what is your immediate future right now? What has just been put out, and how can people sort of find what you're doing and what you're going to be doing? Go for it.
Actually, I just got promoted to night manager at the 7-Eleven. So other than that, I'm
You're winning.
nothing. I'm winning. Yeah, winning. Tiger blood. Boom. Tiger King, Tiger blood, whatever. I got it. I actually right now, like all the rest of you guys, I had a bunch of dates to the end of the year, and I'm just waiting to hear when everything gets back on. I'm working on a solo record now, but again, I started recording with Marty Fredrickson, and we kind of knocked it on the head because we don't, I don't really know what's going on. So I've got Pro Tools now on my laptop, and I'm just sitting here trying to teach myself how to turn the computer on. And,
yeah, me and you have always been sort of Pro Tools challenged. I remember when we wrote songs way back in the day, it was like, we would basically meet and then we'd look at the computer for about a half an hour and then we go, yeah, well, that was good.
Yeah. Dude, I have no, I'm so mad at myself. Like I just told somebody, like I think in total since the Scream, I've done like, I don't know, it's like 16 records, 17 records. And at no point did I ever sit down and look and see how an EQ works or, any of that plug in, plug out, line in, line out. I don't know how to fuck. So I'm sitting now when I get off of this thing with you guys, I'm going to go sit at my coffee table in my kitchen. And, I'm going to just sit there for 7, 8 hours, 10 hours or longer and just figure out how to try and turn the computer on.
I'm telling you, man,
it's fucking brutal.
If we spent as much time reading Pro Tools manuals as we do porn surfing, we would be all magical producers, wouldn't we? Eric Brittingham, what are you up to these days and the future days? Not just here in quarantine and stuff, but what's been happening, what's going on, and what's on your plate?
Well, I've been playing bass with Bret Michaels for 4 years now, and Cinderella, I don't really see that ever happening again. It may, but I'm in if it happens, but I don't see it happening. But lately, we're quarantined like everyone else, so I've been spending my time writing, demoing songs that I've written from years ago that I never had the time to do. So just catching up on that. As far as playing live, when bars open, I'll probably throw something together and go out and play some acoustic gigs. And I don't think Brett's going to get back to work for a while, being a diabetic. He's at a high risk category. He doesn't really want to be around a lot of people until it's completely safe. So, and I get that. So yeah, I'm just in a holding pattern for quite a while and try to make the best of it.
There you go, Eric Brittingham. Troy Patrick Farrell, I know you have a lot on your plate always, but I know you wanted me to ask you what's going on now. And by the way, during that last Eric Brittingham segment, John Corabi, you got a Pro Tools teacher. I think Anna Theater Dance Rock Theater offered to help you learn Pro Tools. So there you go. You got a mentor. And Mr. Troy Patrick Farrell, please tell us what you're up to and what's going on in the next few months.
Well, I'm going to continue to shine the shot glasses I have. And I see some comments on there about where to get the merch. Essentially, just hit me up on the Facebook at Lost Angels Live, and we'll work it out that way. And so far, everything that we have had, even international, has already shipped. It typically gets out within 48 hours, and you're good to go. I'm going to try this thing here. Forgive me for doing this. Maybe this will work. But this is something else we have going on. Oh, I don't think I can do that. Hang on. Can you see that?
Wow, look at that. Yeah, we saw it for a second.
Oh, yeah, right on.
Gilby Clark.
Yeah, so Gilby Clark has a live stream on the Monsters of Rock website. On the Monsters of Rock cruise. Yeah. And so we're going to be doing that next. Try not to screw this up. Next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And so, yeah, we're going to be doing that. EJ and I will be there, and we'll be playing live for everybody on the Monsters of Rock Cruise website.
6 o'clock in the UK, 7 o'clock in Europe. That sounds like a good time for everybody.
Is it? It's 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so it isn't a little later.
Pacific 9 hours. Sorry.
Yeah.
You'll have fun, dude.
Yeah,
I
and
just
so
did one.
We're doing that down in at Third Encore in LA, and then a Cheap Thrill had a bunch of dates in April with Brandon Gibbs and Joel Colche from Collective Soul, and those are getting moved to later in June. So Cheap Thrill Rocks at Facebook will have all of the dates and everything there. So, it seems like things are kind of getting back, and all the dates that we had moved months ahead seem like they're sticking, and we'll keep our fingers crossed. If not, you will have a freshly polished shot glass from the Lost Angels merch store, handled by yourself truly, or myself.
There you
truly.
go. Well, Troy Patrick Farrell, I'm going to turn it over to EJ Curse, but are you going to pull a Harpo Marx and just go, waka waka, exactly what he said, or do you have other stuff going on as well, EJ? Great.
Actually,
well said.
I'm kind of thanks, Troy. But no, I'll be doing the Monsters of Rock thing on the 26th with Troy and Gilby Clarke. And Gilby Clarke just came out with a new record, his first one in 12 years. And I just did the first video for it. It's called Rock and Roll is Getting Louder. And you can find it all over. It's on YouTube, and you can go to Gilby Clarke's site. So I've got that going on. Hopefully I'll get involved in some of these Cheap Thrill or shows coming up. Let's see. And also, someone asked me a question about motorcycles or bass, what I would rather do. And playing with Gilby Clarke, we actually get to do both. Troy and I have both traveled across country on the motorcycles to play shows. So it's kind of cool. So I'm busy enough. Thanks. I'll take some more work though. Whatever you got.
Well, there you go. And now I'm back. So how
and
the hell did
Ryan
I get
Roxie,
full
what are you up to?
Well,
Yeah.
you know me. I'm just sort of, again, going to be here every Tuesday doing the live stream podcast, which I thank you guys for actually showing up today on time,
trenches.
early in the trenches. I do a Sunday live stream Sunday that I'm going to be doing. But of course, we have Mr. Eric Dover because pretty exciting news. I know Eric's new band. I want you to talk about it. You just put out the new single and the new, is it an EP? Is it an album? Is it going to be? Tell us all about the new band, where people can get it, and what you're up to these next couple months. Eric Dover.
And open the vulva.
Well, for those of you out there that might not be familiar.
Whoa, what happened there? There you go. There's something.
The song Lighthouse Spaceship from the Licorice Quartet Volume 1. And we have 3 volumes of EPs planned to release over the next year or so. And we're also offering fan experiences, talk to the band, do some Skype interviews, co-write songs, all of the above. If you go to the licoricequartet.com page, you can check all that out. And also in the meantime, I think somewhere in January, we were talking Lost Angels about recording some original material.
Yes.
Of course, the virus kind of put a kibosh on everything, but that's still kind of something I'd like us to try at some point.
Well, there you go. You know what? And you should start a podcast called, I have In the Trenches. You could be in the uterus, and you already have everything ready to go. But yeah, I think that's an important thing that you just said, Eric Dover, is a Lost Angels album, because I think collectively with our Seventh Angel, Muddy, we could make one hell of a record. And even if everyone just wrote one song, there's an EP right there. And I know that all of us have more than 1 or 2 songs in our wheelhouse. So maybe that's something we should do as soon as Corabi masters Pro Tools.
Well,
Yeah.
Mr. Dover and Mr. Roxie have already started contributing, and it sounds fucking awesome already. So I'm looking forward to doing anything.
Yeah, I'll be working on drums ASAP, you guys. I promise. And we'll have some Lost Angels material ASAP. That's my goal.
And curiously enough, nobody asked that question, but I'm glad that we asked it of ourselves. Should we put the record out? and apparently they do want now. I'm looking at the comments. They're blowing up. Everybody would like to see a Los Angeles album. So let's go to it. And there it is. We have our producer, Mark Denzeisen.
Yeah.
I'll record it. And here was the closer for free.
For free.
Yes.
You could just lead with that next time. Just lead with that.
I'm going to go to Bear Stain right away. It was Bear Stain Records. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on In the Trenches. I think everybody was able to get a word in edgewise. I tried to run it a little bit democratically. Muddy, if there's anything you'd like to say, please say it now.
Hello.
And I think that Troy, you have one more self-promotion plug right there. There it is. With the EJ Curse fan club that is formed right now. We did get we did get a very nice donation of $5.99 to start it off. Thank you very much for the EJ Curse Foundation. And John Corabi, Eric Brittingham, Troy Patrick Farrell, Eric Dover, EJ Curse, and myself, Ryan Roxie. I'll hang on for just a couple minutes while I close it out, because I really do want you guys to I want to hear that story that Corabi wanted to talk about backstage. It's always nice to hear that little extra little juicy bit. But if we can put up one more time, thank you very much, Dave Rattenbury and Vic Chalfant, for helping us with the production and the overlays. If you want to put all their Instagrams on one more time, folks, this is your last chance to go follow us on all those nice links there. If you are listening to it on one of the other platforms, on the podcast platforms, get on over to Facebook or get onto YouTube and subscribe. Thank you again for hanging out with us. We know that you have about 1 million podcasts to choose from, but you chose us today. So thank you very much. And from all of us in the Los Angeles, until next time, enjoy the ride.
Trenches with Ryan Roxie.
There you go, guys.